armhole princess dart bustier with an oval Chinese neckline design. Hello designers, so in our previous tutorial we learned how to draft this armhole princess dart bustier, and in this tutorial we are going to learn how to use this basic armhole princess dart bustier to sew the style you saw in front or at the beginning. So here are the pieces, the front pieces from our pattern from our previous tutorial. So you're going to attach the side front to the center of the front as you see me doing. Okay, it's in this very fashion that you're going to walk your sewing machine over. Okay, you're going to sew it with 1/2 inch on this side and on the other side. Once you're done sewing, you notice a little bit of excess, which is what you want. Okay, so you do that for the front, and then you do the same thing for the back pieces also. Designers, I want to add that my zipper will be on my side. That is why I have a slit at the back. There is no zipper at the back. The zipper will be on the side. If you want a zipper at your back, you can do that, but I choose to have my zipper on the side. And so as I have pinned it, I was sewing it just in that fashion. Okay, so you have to be gentle and patient with your bustier because of the curves it has from the underbust to the armhole. Okay, be gentle. After sewing it, you will top stitch it. It's possible even for a beginner. Just take your time, be patient with it. If you are starting out, you can hold it with your pins as I did. I don't need to hold it with my pins, but I did that so that you will know that it's the way to go for beginners. But once you become experienced with this, you wouldn't need to pin it with your pins. Okay, so do that. Sew it with a 1/2 inch and then top stitch it, the front and the back pieces. Once you are done, you will have them looking like this. You cut off the remaining excess at the armhole, and then you are good to go. When you look at the pieces, you will notice that I fully interfaced the front pieces, the fabric itself, and on the lining I interfaced the bottom, and then on the sides where I'll be joining, and then a little bit of the caps. For the back pieces, I only interfaced the bottom and then the neckline. But in hindsight, because my fabric was so soft, it would have been a good idea also to interface the back pieces, the fabric itself. So over here, as you can see, I have joined the fabric pieces of the front and also the lining piece that I sewed it with 1/2 inch at the bottom, and then I top stitched it. I also made the neck deeper. When I was drafting it, I used 3x3, but now I used neck width of 3 inches and a neck depth of 5.5 inches. So fold your front neckline like this, and from the fold measure 3.5 inches, and then notch those places. Okay, the places where you've notched are the places where you are going to sew. You're going to leave what remains, okay, for the Chinese or the Mandarin collar. So this part, you're going to sew it with, I marked 1/2 inch downwards, but I ended up sewing it with a 1/4 inch. Okay, so this part that you've brought down with 1/2 inch, you want to sew it, okay, from this side to that side, just as you've seen me do. Okay, after sewing, like I said, I sewed with a 1/4 inch. You give this side a cut, a little bit of a cut. Okay, you cut it, just as you've seen me do, and then you want to notch those areas where you've sewn, so that when you turn it inside out, it will lay gently. I forgot to do that, and I had to flip it back inside out or outside in to notch it. Okay, so do that, notch it. It's very important. After notching, you flip it inside out, just as you see me do. And you are going to have this shape around the neckline, which will make attaching the collar very, very easy for you. Okay, this will make it very easy for you, and you want to achieve just this. Okay, so you want to iron out the neckline. So for the back, we are going to attach the lining piece to the fabric piece with 1/2 inch. We're going to top stitch it, and then we're going to sew the slits around the neckline. Once you are done, everything will look like this. So what you're going to do now is you're going to join the front to the back by the shoulders. Okay, I left 1/2 inch for the joining of the shoulders. In fact, I added it in the drafting process. So you just sew the shoulders with 1/2 inch. It will look like this when it's done. Okay, when you get to this point, we are almost done. In fact, what remains is you shipping out your garment. So after shipping it out with the body's dimension, the bust, the waist, and the hip, you give it a trim if any excess remains. Okay, so after ironing, this is what it will look like. So you take the measurements of the unsewn areas around the neckline. These areas are where your Chinese collar is going to go. Okay, so I have this measurement. You're supposed to have the same measurement on the left and on the right hand side. Okay, so take your measurement. Okay, and now we are going to use this measurement to cut our collar. Now this is a very simple way of cutting your Chinese or Mandarin collar. I want you to see what I'm doing, so I'm using this curve. Otherwise, you can just use your scissors and cut in that slant that you saw me draw. Okay, so mark out with your curve, and then I want the length of my collar to be 2 inches. At the drafting process, once all is said and done, it could be about 1 1/4 inch. Okay, so mark that all along the curve that you drew first. Once you are done, the measurement you had after measuring the unsewn areas of your neckline, you put that here, adding 1 inch. Now we are adding 1 inch because we have a slit at our back. And so once all is said and done, we are going to have to separate our collar into 2. So the joining allowances for the both sides is what we've added as the 1 inch. Okay. And so once you are done drafting the collar, you cut it out like this, just as you see me do. Now, isn't this very, very easy? This is the easiest Chinese neckline cutting process that you're ever going to see. Okay, so once you have it like this, it will look like this once all is said and done, with a slit at the back. So let's use this. In fact, let's give this curve more curve on this side. Okay, I don't think it came out well, so I'm giving it a little bit curve, just as you see me do. So once you have it looking like this, when you measure, you'll notice that you will get the area you're going to attach it to plus the joining allowance. And so you're going to use this to cut another piece, because you need this piece for the interfacing of each of the sides of the collar. Okay. For the interfacing part, you are going to have to for the facing part, you're going to have to interface it, sorry, just as you've seen me do. Okay, and then you're going to stitch it as you see me do. Stitch it to the point that you're going to attach to your collar. The points that remains are what will go around the unsewn areas of your collar. All right. So now let's attach our collar to our neckline. So I'm starting from the back and I'm going to hold it with my pins. Okay, you want to hold it with your pins all the way to the center front. Okay, just as I am doing. And if you cut everything correctly, you will notice that it will lay exactly on the center front, just as mine is turned out to be. So this is how the back is. Be sure to serge your neckline and then top stitch it onto the collar. Okay, this is my sleeve. I will have a separate tutorial on how to attach your sleeve to your armhole. Please, at this juncture, like this video, subscribe, share. I added trimmings on the around arm measurement, on the around arm of my sleeve, so you can do that if you want. So please, you will also notice that I added trimmings on the princess dart seam. I forgot to add that in this video.